Hey everybody, it's Professor Parish, and this is finals week. This is our last week of English 122. Can you believe it? Crazy talk. So this semester has flown by, and I hope that you all are not stressing too much about finals that are heading your way next week. But I just wanted to give you all one last video to kind of go over finals week, touch base on a few very, very important housekeeping things, and then overall just wish you the best of luck with your future classes and for the remainder of these classes you have this fall. So let me minimize myself, and we're going to start talking about finals week in English 122. So I'm going to keep the faculty view you all can see, because if you scroll down, I'm recording this video Friday the 6th. So if you scroll down to finals week, you will notice that on your end, as the 6th and 7th goes, you won't be able to see these two assignments. Once I have it set here on my end that once December 8th hits, once midnight on December 8th happens, you will be able to see both our final exam and the paper 4 draft. So the final exam, I'll go ahead and pull it up and show you all. I know a lot of students freak out about final exams. They're like, what's it going to be like? Don't worry. I did not like final exams, so I made sure this is a very accessible and doable exam. Looks like. As per our other tests, this one does not require you to be on a time frame. You can see here that there's no time limit. Something very important is that it is due by Friday, December 13th. Friday the 13th, 11:55 p.m. And I will make a special note about this. Some of you may have noticed this when you were taking the test, but this time frame is set. I have this test set that when 11:55 hits, the test will immediately submit to me. It'll turn itself in. And some students have noticed that if you're in the middle of the test, just because you're in the middle of the test does not mean that it's going to let you go over that 11:55 time frame. What's going to happen is it's going to instantly turn it in. So if you only get to question 2 when it turns in at 11:55 p.m., the rest of these questions are all going to be zeros. And that's just the nature of it. So make sure that you do not wait until the last minute on Friday to take this test. I want you to take your time on it. Do it early. It does not have a time limit, so you can save the test and work as you go. You can go back to it. You can keep working on it. You can save it, edit it, whatever you need to. But just don't wait until the last minute, because I don't want your test to get submitted and you lose all these points because you waited until the last moment to take it. As far as the sections, the test is split into 3 parts. The first part, there are 7 questions about fiction. You'll notice that they are all varied. There's some multiple choice. There's a matching portion that's worth 20 points, so get ready for that. There's some short answer. It says essay, but there's short answer. And then there's some multiple choice there as well. So there's 35 points given to the fiction section. Then there's the poetry section. It's worth 40 points. There's some short answer, multiple choice. There's no matching for poetry. And then finally for drama, there's 25 points. Like I said, we spent the least amount of time on drama, 25 points, and it's 2, 3 short answers, some matching, and multiple choice. Now, I have it set on here that these questions, these sections will be in random order. So if you open up your test and it starts with poetry, don't worry. I have it set to where everybody's test will be in a different order. So you'll get all these questions. They just may not be in the exact order as your other classmates. Okay? But you're not timed. It's worth 100 points, so please make sure you give yourself plenty of time. I would say as long as you take your time, use your notes and your textbook. All of the answers are in your notes, your textbook, or these PowerPoints that have been in our resources since week 1. If you use those sources, you should get an A on this test. And it's pretty obvious. I can see from my end, I can see not only how long you took to take the test, but I can tell with your answers if you actually looked them up or if you just winged it to get through it. If you took 10 minutes on this, I'm going to know that you probably didn't use your book a whole lot. But it shouldn't take you too long to do. It's a pretty straightforward test as far as that goes. So that's our final exam. And then the other assignment is just turning in paper 4. Now I did want to go over one thing, which is peer review, because some of you have revised your papers this semester and some of you have not. So I want to make sure that you realize how to revise as you go into this final paper. So like I said, on December 8th, you will have from the 8th until Friday the 13th at 11:55 p.m. to do the exam and turn in your paper draft. Please note, and I said this last week in the lecture video, and it's in bold here, the exam will not be available, nor will the paper 4 final draft be accepted for any credit after this date. And that's under any circumstance. It's just our class shuts down. We no longer have class. You are no longer my student. I mean, technically you are until I turn grades in on Monday, but as far as the class is concerned, it is over at 11:56 p.m. on that Friday. So just be sure to give yourself time. Don't procrastinate. If you are ever going to not procrastinate, it is now. As far as grades go, for instructors here on campus, every grade is due by Monday at noon. So I'm going to actually leave this class open until Monday night so that you can get on here and see what your final grade was. I think that's only fair. You've put in the work, and I will have all your grades done by noon on Monday. So after 12 p.m. on Monday, you can get back on here until Monday night, until Tuesday at midnight, and see what your final grade was. Otherwise, if you miss if you don't get on here Monday and see your final grade, then if you don't get on by the 16th and see your final grade, then I will, it'll be on my SIC by the end of the week, usually, after all the grades are factored in. Or you can email me and I can let you know what your grade is. All right. So, real quick before I round out this video, I want to show you all about the peer review. So if you're peer reviewing so far for our final paper, then what is going to happen is when you put your draft in the discussion forum in week 17, I am going to go draft and edit it. Now that may include me marking for grammar, looking at formatting, looking at citations, etc. So what I will do is I will attach your paper with my comments and suggestions on there so that you can kind of polish up your paper and revise it to turn in for finals week. So I actually have a student's paper right here. She did a really good job on this paper, and I'm using it as an example of just some revisions real quick. There we go. All right. So you'll notice here that I have a few small edits that I've made. One has been changing its to its. It's a simple grammar change. And then the other one is the title of Cinderella that she talks about. I put it in italics. So when you get your paper back, what you're actually going to probably see is going to be something like this. Okay, so right now you can't see any edits, but do you notice these red lines out to the side? If you see a red line like that, that means somewhere in the sentence there is something I have changed. So if I click on that red line, it pops up all of our edits that I've made. So you can see the red line turns gray, and if I scroll down this sentence, I've made some changes. I have deleted its and put it is as a contraction right here. So how do I get rid of this? Because you'll need to get rid of these red marks before you turn in your final draft. So what you do is you go to each edit, you can right click on your mouse, and when you right click, there's these options that pop up. Now, if I reject the deletion, that means it's going to change it back to what it was. We don't want to do that. We want to accept deletion and see it's taken care of. Now it's gone. So I'm going to go over here, right click again, right click. Now I can accept the insertion, which was my correction. So I'm going to do that, and now it treats it like it's part of the paper. And you'll notice the gray line is gone. So I go down here. I see a gray line. It means I've made an edit here. I can, if I right click here, I have the option to format change. I changed the format. I made it italics so I can accept or reject. I want to accept. And it's made it part of the paper. Now, if you don't want to right click on the actual word, you can go out here to the side, and where I have put it here, I can accept the format change out here as well. That might be easier to see than in the middle of the text. So I can go and accept here, and you'll notice my gray lines have disappeared. Oh, I still have a gray line. So what does that mean? I go to the sentence, and there we go. In tiny red ink, I put an Oxford comma right there. So I'm going to right click on that. and I'm going to accept it. And now all the gray lines are gone. Now, for some of you, if you have a lot of grammatical errors in your paper, this may take some time. So I'm going to show you an easy way to kind of speed up the process. The only thing is you have to be very, very specific, very concise with this motion. So if I've got 4 edits right here, I could go one by one through them and make all those changes, but if I want to do it all at once, then I'm going to start with my very first mistake. So I'm going to start here at its, and I'm going to highlight everything until the very end. Now, this is very important. Don't go past the last change. Stop at that last change. So see where Cinderella stops right there? I'm going to stop there. Now, I'm going to go back to my first one. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to do, now notice, instead of accept insertion, it's going to say accept change. It's going to change everything at once. So watch this. Every mistake has been corrected all at once. So I basically just saved myself a lot of clicking, and I saved myself the risk of missing something. If I scroll down here, I don't think she had any errors on her works cited, but I will double check. So a lot of these you can see are just little formatting things. Okay, so I did make a hanging indent. So for each of her works cited, I did make a little hanging indent. So I'm going to go through all of these. I'm going to select them. She had a lot of really good sources. I'm going to select, and then I'm going to click accept format change. Oh, didn't do that. Didn't do what I wanted. Okay, must have clicked too much. Okay, accept change. Boom, done. Did it all at once. So you can save yourself a lot of revising time if you've got to just be careful with it and be patient. But you can select, and I would do it by paragraphs if you're wanting to be really, on the ball. So I could start here and go to here and just do it by paragraphs so that I make sure that everything's changed at once. There, see? That way I'm not getting ahead of myself. All right. But yeah, that's formatting, that's revising. If you have any questions as you revise, please let me know, and I'll be happy to help you with that. But I have sincerely enjoyed having you all in my class this semester. It's gone by so fast, and you all have been so wonderful in terms of being creative and being on the ball and being friendly towards one another in the chat. You've really been nice and kind and respectful to each other in the discussion forum and shared lots of really good ideas. And you just have made this semester very wonderful to teach, and I really appreciate it. So I hope that you have a very, very good finals week. I know it's stressful. There's so much going on, but you can do this. You've only got 1 week left, and then you get a month off. But I've really enjoyed having you as a student, and I hope you guys go on, have a wonderful Christmas and a great break. And if you get a chance, stop by and say hi. But otherwise, I'll probably see you in the spring or talk to you all again soon. Okay? Bye.